well from details, right? I might do another video about some of the animes, of course, separately. But yeah, let's start. I'm gonna start going Monday to Sunday. It is me to remember all the animes, and I have seen almost every episode of all the animes. Some of them I have obviously live reacted to reviews and so on each week. Some of them I haven't, but I've still watched them. So there are many animes I have seen actually more than the more animes that I live react. I see more animes than the animes I actually react and review and so on a weekly basis. Right, there are also other animes that I have seen but I haven't talked about yet. So we're gonna cover a lot of animes basically. It's a lot of animes. But yeah, so on Monday then I think it's 2 major animes to talk about. And I will also skip a few animes that like children, Konosuba animes, and I won't talk too much about sequel animes. I will, but not as much. So but anyway, let's start. So an anime that I really like, of course, is what's that full name again? Watashi Nouryoku. I'll leave it at that. Yeah. So this is a very strong Isekai anime. So I say immediately yes. You just watched episode 6. You should react to that. Very good anime. So didn't intend to make my ability average. Yet another Isekai anime, right? But this season has so many good Isekai animes. Of course, we're coming into my favorite one later, Shinchou Yuusha, Hataage, so on, right? But this one I think it's probably like the best Isekai anime, or not the best, but I mean, compared to the last season, I think this one beaten every Isekai last season. And there was still like 5, 6 Isekai last season, right? So, yeah, so as you say, I mean, either the quality last season was really bad, I guess was kind of half-assed, but yeah, this season has a lot of Isekai, so this is like my number 3rd Isekai, in my opinion, but I think it's still a really good Isekai. So, I think it's really funny, definitely yay for me. It is, the 4th wall is great, a lot of reference jokes, which I like at least, I think it's really funny. Miles, the main character, is really, really good. And then the last episode actually gives some more like backstory, a little more depth to it, a little more sadness. Previously it was kind of like it's a comedy, and now it's actually pretty sad. So yeah, it actually is kind of like shaping up and becoming more and more serious too, I suppose. So a good anime, definitely recommend this anime. I think it's one of the better animes, I would say, this season. And then again, right, I keep saying it, but again, there's so much Isekai this season though, because this is still, in my opinion, it's number 3. It's number 3, and that I don't say that to be like it's only number 3, but like it's still just number 3, and that is more how good the other animes are, right? That's more how it's amazingly strong and other animes are. So anyway, Babylon, why is it here? I don't know why. I'm trying to drop it like here. But the program's dropping it in my face sometimes. I don't know, it's random. Whatever. Babylon, a thriller, I guess you'd call it like a detective anime, I guess. Thriller is obviously what it really is, but it's like detective, investigation kind of anime. Definitely more on the, how would I say it? It's clearly not comedic. No, but this anime is pretty good. I think I don't think it's the best anime. I think it's like a J anime. It's definitely more similar to I suppose a little bit of Yashiki, a little bit, it's a little of that, something like that. Yeah, yes, it's more important and so on. Definitely, but I think these kind of animes, in my opinion at least, I don't know about my opinion, but I think because of my opinion, these kind of anime definitely is more like you probably like it if you like this kind of genre. But I feel that I think it's a good anime, but if you compare it to like stuff like Nouryoku, which is like it's like a really funny, it's Isekai, but it's really, really funny. I think Nouryoku kind of goes over to everyone, except people don't like comedy. But I think it's a more like an easy into anime, right? With this anime here, so it feels a little more it's more specific. Yeah, it's a thriller, it's a drama, it's a little more brutal and so on, right? So a good anime, but definitely a little more how to say it. Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's like not for everyone, right? Not for everyone. I think it's a fair word for it. Yeah, not for everyone. Not for everyone. I think that seems like a fair estimation, I would say. But anyway, let's go to the next anime. Tuesday animes. Jet Girls, of course, is the uncensored. I don't wanna spend that on YouTube again. Oh my god! I mean, I probably accidentally streamed some raunchy hentai jokes. Yeah, it's man, I was live streaming to this thing. Episode, is it like 2? I think even 2. And suddenly it's like, oh, there's a naked lady. Yeah, it's like. This anime, I think it's hilarious. I love this anime. I think it's so the clear core was the best anime this season. It's not as funny as example Dumbbell. It's not even close to Dumbbell in quality and so on. But it's clearly that kind of edgy fan service anime where all the jokes are about oppai and boobies and asses and titties and so on. Yeah, and it's all about, oh, that's my girlfriend, and it's Netto Rare, right, and it's Yuri, and it's like, I love her more than you do, and all of that stuff as well, right? And then they fight each other, and the clothing they blast off each other's clothing. It's a funny anime, but you have to be obviously also in the right mindset, right? Some people say, oh, it's one of the pervert animes, I suppose, but I think it's really funny. I'm laughing at the anime constantly. I'm just laughing at how ridiculous it is, yeah. What's interesting with anime though is that it's uncensored, right? So that's a big yay for me. But it's a big yay, right? Because normally you would have an anime being released. Maybe this is kind of like, oh, this is the bathtub scene. Oh, we're gonna censor the nipples a bit, and then we have the Blu-ray, right? And then people are gonna buy that stuff. But this anime here actually airs uncensored on some different versions, not on all versions, but some versions are uncensored. And yeah, they're doing complete nudity. Yeah, there are boobies and there are nipples, and it's so that actually be interesting, I think, and makes it a little more interesting to watch, because if it's gonna be etchy, might as well go full etchy, right? And I think that's a general thing I would say. When you look at animes today, when I grew up, and I was a young lad, now when I grew up, right, back in the 90s, so I'm born in the 80s, so yeah, when I was watching anime in the 90s. Animes were way less censored, yeah. True, they did release more to, let's call it OVA and OND these days, but OVA, so they could be less censored because they were on TV. But still, though, the animes back then were way less censored. They were both more brutal, but also more sexy. Yeah, the girls were more naked, it was less censorship. That has definitely increased every year, I feel, in my opinion. Or around I think so. I haven't really checked it out, but I mean, I can say for a fact that in the 90s, animes, like these etchy animes, they were way more naked. That absolutely is a fact. Then if it's like the worst right now, or if it's just kind of the same for the last 5 years, I would say probably like it's probably kind of censorship is pretty much the same, I feel, for the last few years. It's been a little worse probably, I think, every year, but definitely kind of jumped from like the 90s to 2000. It's a huge censorship difference there. And these kind of animes here, they used to be naked, right? Like these animes, yeah, they used to be nipples all the time and so on, and boobies, and really, people, yeah. And there was more sane and stuff and so on. But also there were way less animes. And if they were etchy, they were more etchy, like. But I remember, if you go and watch, for example, Girls Bravo, the opening, a pretty good song, I like song, yeah, one of my favorite openings, actually. Girls Bravo, no, sorry, not Girls Bravo, Girls Bravo 2, it's probably ending with better, but no, I mean Green was airing Sentiments Girls Bravo, but they are naked in Girls Bravo 2 for that matter. But in Green, the opening, they're naked. Even in the opening of Green, it's like naked girls. So back in the days, it used to be like Jet Girls, where the girls were naked. So I think that's a big yay for Jet Girls, though. I think it's seriously this. If you wanna watch an etchy anime with actual etchy jokes and boobies and so on, right? Yeah, I think why not, right? So I think I like them with Jet Girls. I like it a lot, actually. I don't care about that. I mean, I wish more animes. For example, Benkuben, they're naked all the time. Like, let's episode of Benkuben comment later, but we never learn, we never study. Like, they're naked all the time, but it's perfect censorship, right? And it's just like, come on, just show it anyway, yeah. But whatever. That is Jet Girls on Tuesdays. And also, of course, on Tuesday we have Black Clover, which is really good. So I love Black Clover, right? It's fantastic. But, when it's like 109 tomorrow, right? So, there's been a lot of seasons. So let's just say it's still really good. I'm loving it. It's one of my absolute favorite animes. I think it's fantastic. It really is fantastic. I freaking love. I love it. But anyway, let's go to Wednesday. So my favorite anime this season, I would say, are all on Wednesday. They're all on Wednesday. They're all on Wednesday. Wednesday is like this god day of anime. So now we're on Wednesdays, right? And Wednesday has, of course, Shinchou Yuusha, an amazing, absolute yay anime. It's, of course, I'm a huge Konosuba fan, so I'm kind of weak for Shinchou Yuusha being like the closest anime ever to a Konosuba, I feel. Much closer than Kemono Michi, which is also really good. And then we have, of course, Beastars, Little Night, right? And I feel that, in my opinion, Beastars and Koshihiro, Shinchou Yuusha, are number 1 and number 2, right? I feel this whole season, generally. Definitely, let's throw out him here as well. Yeah, let's throw it out, yeah. So I feel that these two are definitely the best 2 animes this season, and they're both airing on the same day. So Wednesdays are freaking fantastic, and then Oresuki, I would say, is probably my number 3. So it's like 1, 2, and 3 on the same day. So Wednesday is like, man, it's yay all the way. And of course, Kemono Michi, not as good as Konosuba. I think it's Konosuba level at all. I think Konosuba is much better actually, but Konosuba, in my opinion, is the best comedy anime ever done. So like, it's hard to kind of get to that level, right? But Kemono Michi is really, really funny too, and so on. But anyway, talk about first then. Shinchou Yuusha. Shinchou Yuusha haven't seen yet. It is definitely a high-level, meta-joking, fourth wall kind of anime, which I really like though. So I'm obviously a bit biased there. I have to say though, you know, because I really like that kind of comedy, where it's kind of like, okay, this is like game world, he has levels, but he's like faking the levels because he can't trust anyone, not even his gun god and so on, right? And it's a lot of, you know, great comedy jokes. It's like, oh, there's a demon, I throw water at the undead because they're probably undead and so on. So anyway, it basically is about a hero, right? The starter, the goddess, summons a hero. He's the worst hero ever, personality-wise, but he's the greatest stranger ever. It takes everything to incredible serious levels, right? Which make him burn down a village to kill like the demon skin, I guess, or something, body, flesh wounds, yeah. Better kill everything, right? And so on, and he constantly keeps hurting her feelings, right? But she's also trying to all the time. Which I think is one of the best part, honestly, that they start there. It's like a complete horny gal all the time. It's like, oh, say you should! It's always trying to seduce him, and the next thing she hates him. I think that's one of the best part. Her, you know, her thirstiness for his member always goes back and forth to her reasoning. She's like, he's the worst ever, but he is really hot. It's like, constantly she's trying to fight that, her sex drive. Yeah, it is hilarious. But also one good thing then, which is that she is the main character, right? Seiya is just the objective tool of the anime, and we're seeing it from her perspective. She's both the Aqua and the Kasum. I think that's the most fair comparison to the anime. That she's the straight person, right? The person that is telling out that it's stupid, so like Kasuma does in Konosuba. But she's also doing all these crazy reaction faces, right? She's both then, in a way, Aqua and Kasuma at the same time. And of course she keeps doing, you know, all her, you know, reaction faces, right? And I think that's probably one of the best parts. I mean, straight up, like if you watch this anime, you sit there like, I just want to see every damn reaction face of the starter. That's why I'm here. I just want to see each week. I want to see the collection of the crazy reactions. It depends so much body that I'm throwing out of different faces. But yeah, I think it's by easily the funniest anime season. By far, funniest anime. Probably, I don't know, this or Kaguya-sama. Also, Kaguya-sama again is an amazing anime, right? I'll argue the best anime of the winter season this year. So I think that I did that one on Kaguya-sama. But I honestly probably would give it to Kaguya-sama. Because I know Kaguya-sama is funny, insanely funny. That's why I bought my Kaguya-sama t-shirt over there. But yeah, Kaguya-sama is insanely funny. But also well written in the sense of kind of drama and like character development and so on, right? Kind of storyline. Where I think that the only thing I'll say with Yuusha is that it's just straight up comedy, right? Everything's really stupid. So it's like, you know, it doesn't really like, you know, give you like, yeah, instant, but it's actually really, really fun. But anyway, Beastars then. Beastars, of course, from Orange. A lot of people are like, oh, my Beastars is the best written story ever. Stop giving so much credit to the anime studio. But come on. I think, I know people think that. But at the same time, still though. Orange, of course, the same studio did Hoshino Kuni, the best anime of 2017, an amazing anime. This is the next anime, and the quality of Beastars, just from like a art direction alone, right, or whatever you want to call it, art quality, setting, lighting, production value, and so whatever, all of that is just like whoa, oh, holy shit. So I think that even in Beastars, I know people say, oh, but it's best, yeah. But let's just for argument's sake, say Beastars horrible storyline. Say there was a bad written storyline. I would still say, yeah, Beastars, because it is the best looking anime this year. It looks amazing. It's visually, it's just stunning visually. So I think that's the first thing, because that's the first thing you see, right? Even if you don't even, follow the storyline, you see that without really going into details. And it's amazing, and it's on the same quality as Hoshino Kuni. Probably even better, right? Because it's like, it's newer. So, but I will say this thing though, Hoshino Kuni probably had better scenes though, still, because there haven't been really any fight scenes in Beastars. Arguably, it's one fight scene. I know, but it's not like in the same level of like this gigantic fight scene as in Hoshino Kuni. So I don't think they pushed them in that sense. I would argue for, but and then the storyline on Beastars is really good. It's very mature, it's very sexy, it's very furry, it's a lot of sex. It's a lot of sex. There is this bunny girl, and she has a lot of sex. There's this slutty bunny girl, yeah, bunny senpai, slutty. It's there's this, I don't know, spoilers, I haven't seen it yet, but there's this, well, start of a sex scene in Beastars where she just she lunges at his crotch and like rips it open, yeah, and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. So, but I think that I really like Beastars is the writing, right? Because normally those scenes would be handled very well in most animes. Either the guy would be afraid of the woman for some reason, even if she's just kind of like, let's have sex, like, oh, no one, yeah, or he wouldn't get it. But here it's more like he's really into it. He's really afraid of it, and it really works. It feels very well written because it's not the typical, as I mentioned, either the girl is just kind of gently saying, yeah, let's do it. It's like, no, I hate you because, oh yeah, and it doesn't work like that. Or doesn't understand it. Here he gets it too well, and she's too aggressive and so on. So I think already that's the best scene still in the anime because it really showed you the writing is spectacular. And then of course has this underlying theme of some kind of drugs, and some kind of murder and so on. And like the drama and triangle drama or something right now. I don't want to spoil, but yeah, it's a triangle drama right now, so it's very interesting. And one thing I really love in Beastars 2 is the environment. Like for example, there are different animal sizes, right? So on the second floor of the cafeteria, they have like smaller tables for like the smaller animal people, so they can go up the staircase. And then they have like more than one door because they have, they can open the doors. It's like more than one door, and so I think that's hilarious. So there's a lot of great detail there as well. That it makes the anime really, really stand out. Now then, let's talk about some. It's Konosuba, right? Yeah, it's it's not as good as Konosuba. Let's be honest, it really isn't. But as I mentioned earlier, Konosuba is like the best anime ever, in my opinion. But I think in a lot of people's opinion, actually Konosuba, I'm pretty sure is the highest rated Isekai. At least the last time I checked, like earlier this year, Konosuba was the highest rated Isekai anime of every Isekai anime ever. So popular votes, Konosuba is also the best anime ever. So yeah, it's really, really good. And Kemono Michi, not really getting into the Konosuba level, but it definitely has a lot of Konosuba vibe to it, right? I mean, immediately, spoilers here, immediately he beats up the princess, right? German suplex, my favorite martial art move on the princess, right? Princess buttocks. And, it's gender equality, it's customer, right? So he just completely owns her up, right? And that's hilarious, and he keeps beating Carmilla all the time. He gets the daughter's life story, yeah, she keeps beating her all the time, and he's rude to Sugiru and so on. So, and he attacks both male and female furries, and take advantage of their fur and so on. Yeah, he's very much a gender equality guy. So he is very similar to Kazuma against the main character, but he's like a muscular Kazuma and a bigger perverted Kazuma. He's like a perverted muscular Kazuma, and that I feel really fits in the anime, which is really funny, yeah. And then the other characters have, they have a lot of flaws. They're like, I love the part with Sugiru takes people's swords all the time. That is hilarious. And it's Kazuma for that matter, the voices the sword guy he takes, whatever the name is. So that that she robs all the time. because she's like greedy, you know, and so on, right? And you know, the little one, she loves food and eats a little animal all the time and so on, right? And of course, Camila is absolute useless crap, and like they're all horrible people. So you really have that Konosuba vibe to it, right? Where they're all just like really misfits of anime. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. But anyway, let's go on. So Wednesday, of course, also has Best Girl Pansy. Yeah, oh yeah, you know I comment the Oresuki. Wednesday has so much good anime. Oresuki, another massive yay for me. I think like as I mentioned, Beastars, Yuusha and Oresuki. It's probably my 1, 2, 3 animes. Wednesdays are really fantastic because they have like all the top animes, in my opinion. But how would I say it? Oresuki is really funny because it's a horror anime, right? I guess it's more horror now, and I do agree that the anime is getting worse now because big spoilers here and then. But in the beginning of the anime, it takes the horror trope, right, and really subverts that by putting the main character as a not horror main character, but the guy next to the horror, right? And he's pissed off with one. He wants to F every girl, right? He wants to shag every girl, right? And he wants to do them all. He wants to have that horror true ending. And he's like, God damn it, I'm not the horror main character, and so on. And it's really, really funny. And Pansy is a fantastic best girl. And she's also a conniving, cunning girl and loves her for who he is. It's really good. It's really fantastic. But I will say this though, and I mean, this is not spoiler, but I wouldn't even say that's much spoiler. Because honestly, in my opinion, it was pretty obvious and predictable. So that's a little sad, but it's definitely getting less and less subverted, right? Every episode makes it go into making the main character be more typical horror. It's still not on that level that, oh, he still hates girls, he tells them he hates them and so on. So it still has a lot of good tropes, subverting fourth wall trope and so on. So it's still really good, really, really fantastic. I think it's one of the funnest anime I've seen this year by far and so on. But it definitely is a little less funny. I have to say that, if you be honest here. So it's a massive yay for me. But the episode 1 to 3, which are probably the best 1 to 3 this year, maybe almost. Like, it's fantastic, episode 1 to 3. But then it definitely dips a bit. That's the truth. I think you have to be honest there. But still, though, I would still say this is probably, I would still rate it as the third best anime this season. Even with that. Especially episode 1 to 3 is probably, again, the best 1 to 3 this year. It reminds me of Bunny Senpai, right? If you saw Bunny Senpai, I'm gonna spoil it here, but you should see Bunny Senpai, one of the best anime last year, right? And then Bunny Senpai episode 1 to 3, that's like an anime. Yeah. Episode 1 to 3 in Bunny Senpai, that's like a full story. It's like that is easily last year's best episode 1 to 3. Easily. Because that story is basically like a movie. Use those 3 episodes, and it's freaking amazing. And I think Oresuki is actually very similar. Episode 1 to 3. Episode 3 has a very good ending. It's very romantic. And episode 1 and 2, especially episode 1, has like a massive twist and so on. So the beginning of Oresuki is fantastic. And then after that, it's a little worse. But it goes like a 10 to, episode 1 to 3 is like 10 out of 10. And then it goes like 9 or 8 out of 10. So it's like a really good anime. But it's just a little worse. Noticeably a little worse, but still really good. So more than on Wednesday, we have of course the Bookworm. Can show that because of the whole Japan and their laws, but you know how it is. So anyway, so aside of Bookworm, also good Isekai anime. I was rated the 4th best Isekai, but still watchable. Isekai trash, but an actual good Isekai anime, right? And it's about a girl she dies, is resurrected, reincarnated in the Isekai world, fantasy world. As a 5-year-old, she's very weak, physically weak, and she loves books, right? She's trying to read, craft her own books on like crayon, tree, and wood, whatever it's one. And it's just an interesting anime, and it's very wholesome. It's a lot about her helping her sister with her hair and making her mom cook food and so on. So it's a very wholesome anime, and she's a nice family, and she's like a boy next door loves her and so on. It's a very nice anime. It's probably of the least conflict-oriented animes ever I've seen in my life. It is such a wholesome anime, really. Bookworm, yeah. I mean, nothing ever happened. I mean, look at it ruined her book in one episode, and she got the rainbow Sharingan, I guess. Yeah, I suppose. But it still is like, it's it is very, very wholesome. It's definitely the most wholesome anime this season, for sure. But yeah, more on Wednesday, of course. Wednesday has a lot of anime, so we're gonna get into more here. Wednesday has the basketball anime, which I have reacted and reviewed in the beginning. Then I didn't actually drop the anime, but I stopped doing the reaction for it because it was like 8 animes on Wednesday, and I felt it wasn't really getting much attention. So I was like, whatever. But that's kind of how I feel over the anime too, to be honest. I feel this is a decent sport anime. And I know people already has attacked me over this because I was like, it's kind of like that anime. It's kind of like that. But it feels very predictable. It is. I know the manga is much older than the anime is, but if you watch the sport anime, and I've seen every sport anime, more or less. I've seen like almost every sport anime for the last like 15 years, something, probably more. Like 90% at least. I mean a few, but like almost everyone. Kuroko, Ashiri, and so on. Yeah, we was reacting to Kuroko. So when you watch this anime, everything is there. It's the sick mother with cancer or something. You know, his mom has some kind of like they're not mentioning what she has for disease, but mom has cancer, right? Mom used to play basketball and train him, even though he's short, so he's too short to play basketball. Like for example, you know, the sumo anime, that's right. Hinomori sumo, but exactly. Both these traits, yeah. Here's the guy doesn't want to play basketball anymore, but is a fantastically talented. And he, of course, like last episode, he of course eventually is like, you know what, I'm gonna join you guys because of reasons, right? You have that thing. What do you have more? You have they got this delinquent, they get the redemption storyline, and all of them I guess, but especially the main leader of them, and so on, right? And you have the tactical enemy, and it's just like it is so sport anime. Nothing I've seen in anime so far has been surprising. Everything is exactly by the book. Nothing is at all surprising. For a second, it's incredibly predictable. It has every trope you can imagine. It's still pretty watchable though. So I'm still watching it. Not reacting, but I'm watching it. But it's like, I feel it's a kind of middle thing. I won't say nay, but I think it's like here. That being said though, I do think Kuroko no Basket is much better. I think Slam Dunk is better. So I think there are better basketball animes. I think there are generally better sport animes. So, but I really like sport anime. So I'm a big sport anime guy. So, and it also makes me feel like it's just very in the middle there. I think one thing that it lacks though is the design of the characters, right? Of course, Kuroko has very like crazy design of characters, but this one I feel is too ordinary. Everyone is kind of simple, so that's the problem too. I feel anime it doesn't really stick out the battle and so on. But whatever. It's what it is. Now then, talk about what's it called in Japanese? Whatever, the board game anime, Psycho High School Club, High School Club, whatever. You know what I mean. Board game anime, for me, massive disappointment. I guess I expect it to be the best anime ever, but I do love board games. You know, I worked with producing games for 15 years or more. There's more stuff too in my life, writing and some IT and coding and whatever and so on, right? But I've worked a lot with gaming, and I've done several board games myself. And I founded this board game club. This was the biggest thing in sort of the biggest ones now in my home country and so on, the biggest one in that city, etc. So I have a lot of board game experience. Okay, I have played more than 500-600 different board games. I've competitive played like Mahjong. I played competitive, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, different card games, right, and so on. Etc. So I have like a huge list of board games I know and I played, and all the games more or less they played in the anime, I played them like one or maybe I haven't played them like 50 times. But for example, there's something with Marrakesh, I played that game and so on. Right? So most I played and so on, but it's like it's just pretty boring. That anime is just pretty boring. Like I can just see how it's. I wouldn't say easy, but obviously Kaji is one of my favorite animes of all time. Kaji is an amazing anime, and I do love Tunigawa as well. Yeah, and Kotakagi. But and I mean, I expect something to be like Kaji, but wholesome, right? Kaji without like you will die if you play this card, yeah. It's more like I will beat you to play this card. More like yay, we're best friends still after I defeat you. More like that, right? That's kind of more than I expect that anime. But it's just not very well written in my opinion. I think it really spoiled, and I'm not mean spoiled as in revealing the story. I mean spoils as just spoils the fun, the spoilage more with the games. So there's little issues with the board game anime, Heikinchi. Yeah, because to begin with, it's always like the first roughly 10 or so minutes are how would I say it? They are like nonsense, really, kinda. You could argue that it's like, oh no, but the character building and so on. And the episode with Maki, with the tough badass girl, that was always the best episode. In that episode, it made sense, the bullying and so on. But otherwise, it's just kind of painful, like going to the onsen and nothing really happens. So it's kind of like 5-6 minutes, like using nonsense, right? And they're spending way too little time playing the actual board games. So the actual board game matches are only like half the episode, if most, usually less than that. And it's very uninteresting, I feel, to see them play the board games for so little time, especially when they're kind of filling out the episode time with nothingness. Oh yeah, we kind of like go over here, be friends. It's just pointless. Sometimes we have better storylines, I feel, but most of them are pretty boring, and it doesn't have anything to do with the board game. It was kind of fun though with the guy that was liking the girl and he's trying to let her win and so on. So yeah, sure, but it spent like 10 minutes building that up. It could be like 1 minute building that up if he likes her, and they could start playing, 2 board games immediately. Yeah, you don't need like several minutes of explaining he's in love with the girl there. It's so obvious, but whatever. So I think that's a problem with the board game anime, and they do explain the rules, which I really like. But then it's like this, I don't know, like last episode, that made me just kind of have like a PTSD because so the girl that likes board games, she doesn't want people to play the board games, and I was like, oh man, I can do an episode about just that. I can do like a 10-hour video about how many people I work with in my life that have no interest in caring about the actual player, right? So except in my last game, and I said it, I wrote about it for a long time too. In my last video game I made, Hataage, which released this year, the graphics are horrible. It's just straight up, and not quality-wise, even though not that good either. But the graphics doesn't tell you anything about what the character can do. So if you see the character for the first time in your game, it's a strategy game. You see the unit in the game, you cannot assume what the unit does, because it's just completely artsy-fartsy. So instead of having, for example, I wanted to have a Centaur with a piercing lance ability, and a piercing lance usually would mean you hit more than one hex, right, or more one square, through several enemies, and also usually allies, right? So I wanted to have that, simple, explained. Instead I got like a polygon pyramid thing. It's just a laser, and it still calls piercing lance, and it doesn't make any sense. So I'm gonna do more videos about that, more the channel, game design videos and so on. But basically, right, that game has an enormous problem where, especially the creative artists and so on, but they're always doing the art they wanna see, nothing to do with the actual gameplay, nothing to do with the actual. There's no like correlation between gameplay mechanics and the actual art of the character or the unit. And that just makes the game incredibly hard to learn. It's from that alone, visually, you can't guess what the game is, right? So, last episode of that board game anime, that game is like, oh my god, it's exactly the same like last job, where no one cared about the player, and they were like, I will do what I want, because, yeah, and they keep doing what they want, right? And then no one likes the game. So, in that sense, it's good written, because it's exactly how it is. If you only care about yourself, you do a video game or a board game, it's gonna be a crappy board game. But at the same time, though, it's like it's not a very good episode, I felt, because they were playing her game later on. That wasn't very interesting. It was just like her game sucks. They all say it sucks, and then she's like, "Oh my god, I was wrong." So it's like good, I guess, in that sense, but like it's not a very good board game, yeah. Or I mean, it's not an interesting board game battle. It's more like a lesson to people that play your games and you want people to be happy with your game, right? So whatever. They were right though. But I still would say that that's bad, though. Yeah, like it's just not that good, right? Anyway, 7 Deadly Sins also airs on Wednesday, and I feel it's like, So I haven't read the manga of 7 Deadly Sins, so I want to see the anime, show an anime, because I want to see what happens, right? Except in One Piece, you know, I read the manga ways ago. Yeah, no, anime is horrible, more or less. Better than now, Wano, but still pretty bad, right? So the things I want to see the anime because I went to the manga as I mentioned, but it's just kind of like, man, the anime is bad. Like the anime is horribly animated, taking so many cheap cuts, so many budget cuts and so on. It's watchable, but it definitely is not as good as it used to be. And they have weird censorship, and the opening is horrible. It's just, well, Seven Deadly Sins is still watchable, but it definitely is. I mean, I'm obviously only watching it, and I think if you have to be like practical, it's definitely a NAY anime. But you're only watching it because you've seen other seasons before, right? You know, I just want to see how I just want to see the story keep going. Yeah, I'm not watching it because I think it's very good. I'm watching it because I want to, you know, continue following the storyline that was much better in the previous seasons, right? So it's kind of like that. Yeah, it's not that good. It's not that good. It definitely is a very ishy. And I'm considering just dropping it, just reading the manga instead, right? Because it's like, man, this is not good enough. So, yeah. Meh. It's kind of how I feel about that. But anyway, let's go in tertiary anime. So, Azur Lane, Belfast, Hushan. Of course, best girl. Definitely best girl. A Horn Shan is cool too. Laugh is cool too. Yeah, so Azur Lane, of course, you know, waifu ship battles. It's a pretty good anime. It's a yay anime. It's surprisingly good. I have to say, it feels like it shouldn't be this good. It's like the battles are pretty good actually, and it's pretty funny and it's very ecchi, and it's like some weird ecchi poverty crab thing and so on. But it actually is quite entertaining, and the opening is good too. It's like, man, this anime is much better than I expected. It's probably the anime I feel the most. It's like I expected it to be way worse than this, but it actually is good. It's some great voice acting, like the Koshan for Belfast. It's some great voice acting. It's quite enjoyable. I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It was censored like crazy last episode though. Really censored. Especially the weird scenes right where they're censoring someone's like butt. But she's not naked, she's in her, you know, underwear. And they're censoring the whole butt. So you're like, is she naked? You kinda makes you believe that she's naked, right? It looks worse, yeah. Censorship makes it look like it's sexier than this, right? Or like more perverted. But anyway, Azur Lane, I recommend it. I think it's pretty funny. The action's pretty good. But generally, definitely, it's a special kind of anime where you just have like 50, 105, 60 bolt girls, right? Fighting. So here, I mean, you look at the opening. The opening is like girl. It shows you like just a billion, you know, hot females, right? So this is what it is, right? It definitely is that kind of anime. Anyway, no guns, no life. An anime that I definitely knew was gonna be good, and it's really good. It's Madhouse. It's definitely a J anime. It is a very, it's hard boiled, but yeah, it's cool anime. Good dialogue. It's very brutal. People get killed all the time, basically, and tortured and so on. Yeah, it's definitely one of the more, you know, mature animes, but not like overkill like Berserk. It's more like kind of in the middle there. But also, what I like with that is that it's very, you know, down to earth. Yes, I know head's a gun, but it's down to earth, right? Because it's not like my head is a gun. I will destroy the planet or save the planet, whatever. It's more like, you know, my head's a gun. Ugh, whatever. Spokes. Yeah, it's more like that, right? It's like, ugh, my life sucks. What can you do about it? Ugh, saving some kid? Ugh, I guess so. Yeah, it's more like that, right? So even though it's clearly like they're all like android and mechas and cyborgs, it still is very much like, the world is bad. I just want to get paid, and you know, so it's a very interesting anime. If it's very down to earth, even though it's crazy with mechas and so on, and the characters are wacko / very, you know, basic and so on. It's weird. It's an interesting anime. Definitely recommend it, but also a very special anime, I feel. Anyway, let's go to anime I hate now. No, but I have a strong dislike for it. Definitely, strong dislike for this anime. Let me get a good image of it. I can feel I can whine a bit here, but no, but it's a horrible anime. I do feel so by far. I think last episode really sold me on how really bad it is, and I've been complaining about the anime for like probably 2-3 weeks now. And then last episode was really the culmination of really horrible anime. So of course, we're still on Thursday animes. So if you follow me on the order last week, you probably can figure out what I mean, of course. And of course, I mean Assassin's Pride. Why can't I make it a bit bigger? Okay, that's too big. God damn it. It doesn't worthy of my time, I feel. It's like, screw you as a Pride. Like, why can't you not ruin it for me? There we go. It could be ugly. Yeah, fine, whatever. That's what it's worth. Assassin's Pride. Oh my god, anime is bad. This is the most disappointing anime this season. It is just crap. It's everything wrong with anime. No, but it's clearly an adaptation similar to Arifurata, which is probably a billion times better as how I call it, as a source material, yeah. Because they are cutting everything. Nothing makes sense as an anime. It is really bad. But I would say one thing immediately, though, which I hate in this anime, which I hated from episode 1, though. Even if they had explained it, I probably wouldn't like it, because I just don't like that at all. So basically, they have the class system, right? Which is very hard established in games like Final Fantasy 1. Yes, I know they call it job system there. I have written a thesis about the games. I know it's called job systems. But, it's the class system, right? It's essentially the same even comes from the same person, right? So, for example, Ogre Battle class system, right? First game in the class system, and Pet Ogre class system, very very established class system there. Practice FFT, right? Fun Fantasy Tactics, same creator did Ogre Battle, Yashima Matsuno, same person makes that game, right? Class system, what is it called? Job system. So the modern Final Fantasy job system comes from FFT primarily, FFT a little bit I suppose, but mainly FFT, right? And that is actually from the class system of Text Ogre. So trust me when I say that the word job system for fantasy is just another semantic word for the well established class system in role-playing games, in Japanese role-playing games. Clearly, Assassin's Pride is using the class system from something like Text Ogre or something. But it's just like, oh, but the padding class is imbalanced. Okay. And they never explain that. It's just like, the padding class is just better than everything else. And we're never ever gonna tell you why. I think that's just retarded. That is really stupid. We're never gonna tell you why. And even if they would, it would still be like, but how, what? And the problem is that the author, and I haven't read a source material, but I'm sure, and honestly, you can hate me how much I want, but I'm sure even the source material is crappier, because the author is clearly spending there, like, oh, I want this, like, I want make my own system of, I'm just gonna rely on typical, game tropes, right, to explain this world, right, yeah. And that's clearly what's happening in the general story here, regardless what it's anime or manga or light novel. And so they're doing that, they're taking it from the gaming systems, but they're not taking the balanced game system. They're making it imbalanced. And in the games, you would obviously you would level up and you will change your class and so on. And here's like your class is inherent, so you inherit your class. It makes no sense whatsoever. And then spoiler, he's a vampire. His name is freaking Vampire, so that's the dumbest name ever. His name is Vampire, and he's a vampire, yeah. And he gives her his blood to the princess, and instead of inheriting his vampire powers, like in every goddamn other Twilight, whatever vampire storyline ever, where if you drink the blood of vampire, right, you get the power of vampire, which also makes no sense because they have blood-related powers, right? She gets the class power. She inherits his samurai class, but so far she hasn't inherited his vampire power. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. That is just so stupid. Like, what the fuck? Jesus Christ. In every goddamn other universe ever, if you get the vampire blood, you turn into a freaking vampire, right? Or you get like half vampires, but you get the vampire powers. And in this anime, for some effed up reason, you are still inheriting the class powers. Even if you inherit the class powers from your parents, makes no goddamn sense. It really doesn't. It's just, I've stolen here from video games, but I don't follow the basic rules of the class system. But everything else is a class system. Except the obvious thing that you don't inherit the class. But you don't inherit the vampire abilities. I mean, even if he was like an orc or something, I would feel she would be more likely turning into a half orc, half human samurai than just a samurai. It's like, oh, I give you my orc blood, and then you get orc powers plus samurai powers. That also would make more sense than just getting samurai powers. But especially when it's a freaking vampire that is always giving the blood and creating more vampires, and she doesn't get the vampire powers, not so far at least, and it doesn't mention it to her, and it's just so stupid. That is so stupid. Oh, it's so stupid. It's ridiculously stupid. And also, he beat the dragon with vampire powers, not the class powers. That didn't make any sense. But last episode then, and this is spoiler of course, she beats her cousin slash sister kind of character with one attack. It doesn't explain whatsoever, because she was like doing maybe a counter, not even explained in the anime. People are saying it's a counter, I guess source readers saying it's a counter, doesn't explain in the anime. It doesn't explain when she was training that thing. And then he one-shot the clown character off screen, and so on. The strongest clown character in the whole country, or whatever they are, continent, whatever, like the lamp thing. Really stupid. So it's like, man, this anime is so bad. Oh my god, drop this anime. Do not watch the anime. It's ridiculously bad. Especially last episode again. Like, we have this clown character, which also is horribly introduced. So you have a clown character that can use every class apparently, except the best classes, but not the bad classes. But instead of showing that to us, the viewer, that yeah, the gunner has guns and the blade master has whatever, yeah, the hero in this team, right? They don't explain anything ever. It's really badly written anime, horribly written anime. Never explains anything ever. And then you show the mimic character, and the mimic is like gun, sword. But for us, the viewer, we have no knowledge or understanding that the rules are set around these classes can only use like a gun. They've never been explained. So afterward, he's like, oh, she has to be a mimic because she can use this and this. But we, the viewer, could never figure it out because it never told us, right? Any rules whatsoever. So him like, oh my god, she has a gun and a sword. What epicness! Like, that's not cool for us, the viewer. Because they don't know the limitations. And the anime is constant battle shonen, power twist, you know, blah, bleach. You can't see bleach person now because it's damage, but it's very bleach fightings, but bad, right? It's like bleach structure, horrible fights. And there's no build up and there's no storyline, what powers to have and so on. Man, I really hate the anime. It's probably the worst anime this season. I said last week, episode 5 of the anime, that's the worst episode I've seen this season. Easily worst episode I've seen. Horrible episode. Such a bad anime. It was really, really bad. Incredibly disappointing episode. And I mean, I was already having a very low bar, and then episode 5 arrived, and it's so bad. It's incredibly bad. Really crappy anime. Really, really bad. And it's not even bad in a funny way. Like Alfarata, where you laugh at it because it's like so ridiculously ugly. As Pride is just like, it's just boring bad. It's like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. That's illogical. Oh, she won. It's really, yeah, like, oh, that didn't explain anything. Yeah, it's just like nothing just makes any sense, and it's really boring. Yeah, so it's what it is, I guess. But it is very disappointing. Anyway, Friday! Good animes again. Hideka-chan! So, very good as the last time, yeah. So, of course, High School Girl is back again. It's amazing anime. Absolutely recommend it. What the best anime season. Let's have something very emotional. I want to spoil it here. But, you know, she's fighting for her love. It's super well-written romance story. On the same time being, you know, a lot of funny references and yeah, and gaming. So it's a very cool anime. Check it out. The 2 is going now. But I mean, I made a video about this last year. High School Girl season 1 is in my top 10 last year. So I already made a long video about explaining why High School is a great anime. So you know, I leave it at that. But it's a really good anime. I leave it at that. But I already covered, I feel, this anime a lot. So whatever, it's very good. It still is very, very good. That's my point. It still is very, very good. It is still very, very, very good. So otherwise on Friday then, it's very, you know, it's very shonen, right? Friday is very, very shonen. Where they fight and so on, yeah. So Friday is shonen anime, right? Whereas it's anime. So, of course, the Stone is still airing. Still fantastic, okay? But the Stone, one of the best anime season, one of the best anime year. Very, very, very good. Very, very good. I don't want to spoil it if you're on top of anime, but absolute yay. The story is fantastic. It keeps being better and better. New female character that make a really cool female character, and so on. So it's a great anime, right, about a guy trying to reinvent all technology after Earth got petrified, people got petrified. He's alive now, right, trying to rebuild society. Very, very cool anime. And same with the main character. He's very, very intelligent. And I mean intelligent in all aspects. He's intelligent, building machines, but also understanding human behavior and so on. He's like an actual intelligent person. He's very realistic. It's very, very good. So that's to the stone. Fire Force, still ongoing, and it still is very like, yeah. I would say this thing. I probably would say nay for Fire Force if I haven't already seen so many episodes. I probably wouldn't have watched. I kind of regret starting watching it from the beginning. Fire Force to me is a disappointment generally. It's not the worst I've seen in my life, but it definitely not the best shonen anime. I've seen more or less every shonen anime, and this is not the worst shonen anime, but it's very in the middle. I have seen, I feel like every other shonen anime this season is doing it better than Fire Force, and there's a lot of shonen anime this season. There's like so much shonen anime. Fire, yeah, it's so much like the Stone, Soma, and before this, I mean, One Piece is ongoing forever, right? My Academia, of course, on the day afterwards, so on, yeah. And it's just like Fire Force, everything it does, it's just kind of like meh. I feel it's just kind of like it's very similar. It's just kind of like, yeah, you've seen that before. Sad backstory. It's incredibly predictable. That's one thing in Fire Force. It is so predictable. I don't want to spoil it too much here if you haven't seen it, but I was like, wow. I mean, I called the main character's family relationship. I called episode 1. I was like, that's how it is, yeah. If you look at my live reaction to episode 1 and 2, so I was like, this is gonna happen. I was like, immediately I called it. Like, this definitely happened to him in the backstory. This is definitely gonna happen to his family members and so on. It's so predictable. And every like bad guy action and all the characters, it's just like, oh my god, this is so predictable. The whole fighting with the fight power, I think it's just blatantly stupid in my opinion. For that matter, it's just really stupid. I'm laughing at it because it's so stupid. So I mean, in Fire Force, they all have fire powers, right? Yeah, it's surprising the name, except some of them like Mr. Zoro, Kevin doesn't have it. Is Batman, but most of them have fire powers, right? And that doesn't make any goddamn sense because then there's so many bad guys, especially the bad guys, that have fire powers that clearly aren't fire powers. Especially one guy that can like mold faces, and it's like, how is that a fire power? I don't know. It's like I'm using heat in my hands to do this thing. But if that's what you're doing, then everyone can do that because I mean everyone more or less has a fire power, right? Almost everyone has fire magic powers. So why can't anyone else do his fighting? Because he's not like using a specific fire change thing. It's like, yeah, I'm just heating up my hands. Anyone could have done that if they're just evil enough. Yeah, it feels like a really weird thing that he has that ability. And he looks like Naruto from Naruto and has the same personality. So it's really, he's like, man, he's not Naruto. Yeah, oh my god, it's so bad. And I think the best part is the ice guy. He has the ice powers, right? But it's not ice power because no one can have ice power. So it's like, no, I like extract heat and then create exhaustion with cold ice power. No, it's like an amplifier or something. Yeah, I suppose though heat changing. Yeah, so he's like, oh man, there's so many powers where he's like, it is really bad. And then the main character is incredibly powered. He defeats the captain immediately and so on. The structure of Fire Force using the bleach and other, Black Clover and so on, established shonen tropes will have you, do like a, the captain squad thing, but then immediately breaks it, doesn't really build it up, but then afterward still it's trying to use it. It's like, well, yes, you beat our captain, but here's a new captain that's way strong, and it's like, as the viewer, you're like, why would that captain be strong? Because the other wasn't. And then he almost beat another captain. This is horrible. This is horrible. The main character is way OP in the beginning, and so far he's never getting stronger. I mean, actually training stronger, but he gets stronger anyway, and he still beats people all the time. And to top it off, the fan service of Fire Force, and I love fan service. I love boobies, right? It goes on, but man, in Fire Force it's bad. Yeah, Fire Force, like normally, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't. I would just be like, oh come on, you know, Puritan Twitter people complaining about girls with boobies and so on in anime. Oh, get a life, you know. But when I was Fire Force, even I am like, this is stupid because it's not well done. It is not well done, okay? The fighting with, you know, cat girl, Tamaka, kissing her and so on while they're fighting, accidentally grabbing her boobies all the time. Her whole thing, like, oh, I'm a bad luck hentai character or something. It's just like ridiculous. It is so badly done. It's just like, this is zero effort making good fan service. Zero effort. And it's just like so blatantly destroying the storyline and the mode of the order of the fighting and so on. It is ridiculous. Then I mean constantly the girls are naked and showering and so, but that is fine. I mean that would be fine. I don't care about that. But it's just typical fans export. I think that's fine. But just her whole character is being like, here I'm a hentai character basically. I'm here to be, you know, abused on screen. Like that's kind of her character. Yeah, it's just so poor. It's like that is just really poor. And even if that was just it, I would be like, okay, that's very fan servicey. It's kind of like a fairy tale thing. Whatever, let's go on. But in fairy tale, it's never like, oh no, I accidentally while fighting, while I was fighting whatever. Let's say a bad guy in fairy tale. Without spoiling it, Laxus. The big spoiler. No, not the big, but whatever. Yeah, while I'm fighting Gael and Laxus, I accidentally kissed Lucy, and then I lost my composure or something. I don't know. That never happened in fairy tale. Yes, Lucy get naked all the time, but there is almost like, and actually one thing in fairy tale though. In fairy tale, yes, it's incredibly edgy and fan service all the time. But it's like all the time with Lucy and all the girls, and I feel it's almost worse in Fire Force because it's like only, you know, it's almost worse that it's every now and then, kind of random, sporadically, so it's being constantly. In fairy tale, it's more like it's constantly. It's not at the same level, but it's constantly instead. It makes it more like, hey, this is the anime. It's easier to watch at least. But whatever, it's, Fire Force disappointed me. I like Soul Eater. It disappointed me, Fire Force. And I think the powers, again, are just really stupid. And then it's an incredibly predictable storyline. Yeah, and everything happening is constantly incredibly predictable. Like when they went into the samurai fireplace people, it makes no sense whatsoever. They haven't explained the world building of the anime, which is really stupid. But yeah. They went to his place, and he's like, I hate you guys, you're a Fire Force. He's like, why? He's not Fire Force. He hates them, and immediately you know as the viewer, oh well, he clearly is going to be attacked by the real bad guys. Then he's going to like the good guys, because he's going to save him, right? And then in the current storyline, the next arc, it's the exact same story again! It's the exact same story again! It's another guy who's like, I hate you Fire Force guys. But then the other evil guys attack him, and then the Fire Force saves him, so he likes them. Yeah, it's the exact same storyline. It's literally the exact same storyline, twice in a row. So I would say Fire Force is a nay for sure, and only reason I'm paying more than watching it because I started watching it last season. Because it's getting worse and worse. It is getting worse and worse. Anyway, the last animes on Friday is of course Soyo no Soma, which I feel is pretty good. It's not the best season ever. I haven't read the manga. Everyone keeps saying that it's going to be the worst ending ever, so we'll see what happens with that. But they have the tournament team now. The team tournament is more predictable than what it used to be in Soma. I don't like that. But it still is Soma, right? They eat food, they get orgasm, it's really funny. There's a lot of twists, like, oh, I knew you were doing this thing, and I knew this thing. And it still has the Soma thing going for it. I think it's pretty good. If you like last season, you probably like the season, right? So it definitely, I think a yay for me. But I do feel that the anime is getting worse, or not anime, but that the storyline with the whole central thing definitely was like jumping the shark. It was better, way better before that. I do think the anime definitely took a nosedive. Or not the anime, but I guess the manga is better. The manga storyline, you know, it kind of pivoted in the wrong direction, in my opinion. Anyway, Saturday, right? Saturday anime. Of course, it's all about cute Eri-chan. It's not just a GIF. Yes. So, of course, we have Eri-chan, and it's super cute. So, yeah, My Academia, of course, on Saturday. Of course, it's a yay anime. I'm a little biased. So, it's like, I like it. It's okay. It's okay. No, but it's really, really good. And I was listening again. I read the manga, so it's not spoiler. I read the manga and I reviewed the manga. I read the manga way back when it was when the chat was going, like weekly when this arc in the manga was going, right. so I know it very, very well. And obviously, immediately, they have the best backstory of all the characters. It's the most tragic scene of the whole manga, in my opinion, is in this arc. So if you're into My Hero Academia, I think you're freaking gonna be happy because this arc is the best arc, in my opinion, of the whole My Hero Academia. More or less, yeah. It's like the best arc. So it's the best scene at least, the most tragic scene, or two even. And again, I think it has a really good backstory, an amazing backstory. That's gonna be, I think, so very surprisingly. I remember when I read it, I was like, wow, this backstory, I didn't even see it coming. This character, the backstory, I didn't a backstory, and I was like, wow, this is a really, really well written backstory. It's a very good subversion. It's very, very good. You're gonna know what you're coming to. So, absolute yay. Of course, the quality is great. Bones is doing great quality. The opening song is great. But the opening song is great. The ending is really good. I think it's the best ending. Everything's ending. All the scenes are ready are great with every overhaul and so on. The drama is just bam bam. Every episode so far has been very, very dramatic, right? It's amazing anime. It's very, very strong. Immediately, very, very strong. So anyway, then we have, of course, We Never Learn, season 2, right? It's basically like season 1 continuation, like one season break, right? Horror anime, Ore Tueee Kuse, definitely much better, but it's, We Never Learn, it's just kind of basic horror anime, right? It's a good horror anime. Great female characters, all 5 are like waifu, right? They're all 5, you can marry them. They all have, each one of them has great personality, great traits, some cute flaws, right? I do think I fall in love with Senpai more than Uruka. Uruka definitely is my favorite in the beginning of the anime, but one thing, spoiler, Uruka is not very utilized, I feel, this season so far. That's like one reason maybe, but also then Senpai, which is introduced in the late of season 1, right? She is fantastic, in a way fantastic. So Senpai is probably my new number 1 best girl in anime. Yeah, Senpai is really, really good, and she keeps getting better and better. So the more Senpai screen time, the better she is. So I like season 2 more than the 1. Yeah, I think Bokuben is really funny, and season 2 is funnier. Yeah, especially episode 1, season 2 with the boob jokes, the boob size thing. That's the best episode so far, still in the anime. The episode 1, yeah, the Dritsu boob jokes. That was like, man, this is the best boob joke I've ever seen in my life. Really fantastic. It's really fantastic. I was like, wow, this is some hilarious shit. But anyway, Sunday, or yay for Bokuben. Yeah, yay. Yeah, Bokuben again. Season 2 is better than 1, I think. But of course, it's a horror anime. Right? So if you have to like, one guy, 5-6 girls, all in love with him, arguably, maybe I'll say kind of in love with him. Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's horror anime, right? I think Ore Tueee Kuse, as I mentioned earlier, again, is a fantastic anime in so many ways because. I would argue for even if you hate horror anime, you like it, right? Because you're thinking about what you hate, right? So yeah, Ore Tueee Kuse, I think, is if you like horror anime, you laugh at it because it's like great for wall jokes. If you don't do that kind of anime, you laugh at it because it makes fun of what you don't like, right? And so on. But if you watch like Bokuben, you have to be like a horror guy, right? That likes horror, or girl, but you have to like the horror and stuff, right? More or less. So Sundays we have One Piece, Wano. Disappointing, I think, this season. It started out well. It's still pretty okay, but it definitely been it definitely is like that, right? And obviously you should read One Piece manga and watch the anime. But as to no one's surprise, it's worse and worse, I feel, every week, more or less. It started out much better last season of Wano, but this season is more bad pacing, lazy animation, so on, especially bad pacing and slowing down with hold them and so on. It's very, very slow. So it's getting worse and worse. We'll see where we go with it, but it feels like it's probably gonna be like another bad arc in the anime, as every other arc in the anime ever is. But yeah, it's incredibly slow. Some episode adapts like half a chapter, like 5 pages, so that's ridiculous. But whatever, that's One Piece. Boruto is airing now with a Naruto time travel thing, which is really cute. It is. I haven't seen Boruto for like years. I jumped into that thing. It's definitely good. It gives you the plot hole armor and so on, though. Kinda, yeah, it creates a lot of plot holes. But with the time travel thing, it also reminds you of. Wait, it started out like this Naruto, and then it didn't follow that. The Neji last episode was like, man, this reminds me of how Naruto Part 2, Shippuden, did not follow the basic premise of the first thing, but whatever. So it's like kind of a mixed bag, right? It's a very emotional, some parts I feel. Sense of sorrow, some sad parts, very emotional. But at the same time, it reminds me of all the bad stuff in Naruto. all the mistakes. And Boruto is insufferable as always, I would say, more or less. And it's also kind of like, it's insufferable how much better he is than Naruto, right? Naruto, the kid, has a way more willpower than him. Last episode was like very clear evidence how Naruto's like, I have to fight and so on. Right? He's much more committed and strong willpower than his son has. But his son is still 10 times stronger than him at the same age and so on. Doesn't make any sense. So, but all Boruto characters are too strong, right, for the age and so on. So it is what it is, right? But yeah. Then we have Life is Beautiful, an anime I started watching. It's a sport anime. It's the classic cute girl Sunday sport anime, like Baseball Cinderella, Anime Yell, and so on. They also have like a cute baseball, or also a cute sport anime with girls on Sundays. Well, I'm completely slipping here, but yeah, it's I think it's like a nay, it's not a strong nay, but like weak nay, because it's not as good as the other cute girls sport animes are. It's not terribly bad, but it's just like meh. And the sport is really meh. Rifle thing, it doesn't really develop, and the girls are in a team, but don't have to really teamwork, right? Because it's like a single shooting thing. Even if of course you can do it like in Kyoto, you can do it. It's a team, but it's like not really that strong. So, and I think the graphics are pretty bad. It feels like it's like a nay, but not like a strong nay. It's like nah. It's like a weak nay. Definitely could be better. And then of course we still have Vinland Saga, right? Which is still really good. Very, bloody. Yeah, I think this is better now. I think it's better now too. I think season 1 was great in the beginning. It started out pretty, bloody, showing stuff and so on, right? But after that, I think it definitely went down a bit. So I think it's much better now, actually. I think season 1 was probably the weakest in the end of it, yeah. I'm kind of in the middle of it. And now it's better again. Now it's more battle, it's more tension, it's more battle stuff. So it's a good anime, definitely. It is very, very strong. But I will say one thing though, and then maybe you hate this, but I do feel it's overrated, honestly. I feel it's a yay anime, but I feel people are like, oh, it's 10 out of 10, the best anime ever. I don't think it is. I think it's a good anime, which is very, very bloody, very, very brutal. But I mean, maybe because I grew up reading so much European stuff like Torgal and so on. I read so much European comic books about Vikings, because I was up in Sweden. And we have a lot of those too, like, Red Orm and so on, very good. And they are also very brutal, very bloody. A lot of R stuff, a lot of S stuff, right? The stuff and stab people up in there, yeah, and so on. And they were also very, very brutal, etc. But they had better characters, they had better storyline. So I feel like Vinland Saga, in my opinion, I haven't read the manga in the anime, but I think it's like a worse Torgal. No, Torgal is much more mystic, yeah, dragon and so on, so it's much more mysterious. But Torgal at the base though is still very a Viking guy fighting in the medieval, Viking time / medieval time, and try to survive and so on, petting his family and stuff like that. But it's more sex, it's more blood, it's more sex, and it's more crazy sick characters. So I don't know. I feel Vinland Saga for me is like the Japanese version of Torgal, but no magic, I guess. And I think it's no Torgal in my opinion, but Torgal is like one of the best Belgian comics ever though. It's amazing, recommend hell. Just don't get me wrong, I like Vinland Saga, but I don't know, I think it's like I think it's just good to me. It's good, but I read 20 other comics from Europe, which is the same thing basically, right? Orphan Kid and Revenge and so on, which are very, very similar. Maybe, of course, Vinland's gonna go somewhere from this, but at the current part, it's still just the basic revenge plotline, and it's just badass fights, right? And yeah, it's great fights, and it's very well done. It's animated, crazy well done, and so on. So don't get me wrong, it's very, very well done. But I feel that the general storyline is something I've seen 50 times before. It's just very well produced, right? So I don't know. I think it's like a 9 out of 10 anime, maybe lower. But I want to say that though, because I don't understand that massive hype. I still enjoying it a lot. I'm enjoying it a lot, but I'm also feeling like I have seen the story so much before, especially in European then. comics I've seen the story, and I read books too with similar stuff, right? So it is what it is. It's also trying to be historical setting to some degree, that with real characters, which also spoils what's gonna happen. Yeah, that's to survive it. So it's a little, I don't know, it's a little bit kind of that. But yeah, it's really epic. It's really epic though. I am excited to see this episode. I am definitely. So it's a weird anime. I read this comment that I think was really great when the episode started on the channel, that if they hadn't done 1 to 3, they did 1 to 3 in the same day, right? Or well, one in the next 2 days, or whatever. They basically dropped episode 1 to 3 the same day, and I have a few comments that like if they hadn't done that, they probably wouldn't have seen the anime, or they probably would have stopped at episode 1. And I'm not saying it's a bad anime again, but it's an interesting point, because in Vinland Saga it's kind of like stuff happens pretty slowly sometimes. Yeah, so I think it's better now. Again, I think it's better now. Season 2, I think it's better than 1. I think the latest 3-4 weeks now is the best part so far. So it actually is kind of like, so I do see how it's kind of slow sometimes, definitely. So it's not like I'm super bad mouthing that anime now, but this is the last anime I'm talking about, so it's kind of like I'm just wrapping up here. But I think it's a good anime, but I just want to say here in this review, yay or nay review, that even though it's clearly a yay, but I don't think people are overselling it a bit, right? So I want to be honest here, because I'm always honest with you, right? I want to be honest and say it's really good, it's Vikings and it's badass, but it's also not like the best anime that I've seen in my life. It's also not the most intriguing anime. But again, to iterate, I would say that the best 3 animes though easily are All on Wednesday, and that is Shinchou Yuusha, that is Beastars, that's Odosuke. I think those are the number 3. That's probably Stone for me, yeah. Dr. Stone, sequel of course, following out last season, very good. What's the number 5th? It's probably my number 2. Academia probably is also, of course. But Academia has just started, haven't gotten that far yet in the storyline so far. But yeah, probably Academia. I do really like No Gun Life though. It's a very special anime. Kemono Michi, maybe a little bit. Yeah, it's really, really funny too. It is really, really funny. But anyways, that's the yay or nay. I probably missed some animes. It's probably, I missed a Sherlock, a pretty mediocre anime. I probably missed some animes now. Well, yeah, Radiant Season 2, I guess it started, but Season 1 was really bad, so I dropped that already. Already last year. Oh yeah, one anime I forgot, which I have seen, which of course is The Seven Prodigies, yeah. Full name is Shuri, Tashiva, Isekai, Demo Yo, Ikono Yo Desu. About 7 super geniuses. That's a pretty Isekai anime too, yeah. I think it's like a weak yay. Pretty strong Isekai anime. Not the best season, but it's enjoyable. I think it's enjoyable, not the best. What more anime I forget about? Psychopaths Season 3, I haven't seen 2 yet. Strong anime, of course. I would say in the beginning, I have 2 weeks, I want to commit to that. Tense anime, Hoshin no Sora. I see it a little bit. I feel it like that. I feel it's like down to earth, tennis anime, but also a weak sport anime. In my opinion, it's. I want to see the next episode. Oh yeah, this is anime I forgot there. I'm looking at this now here. The anime is in my head. Shuyubu Gekutasu Boy. On Friday, we have this anime where all the guys are crazy and a poor girl having started reasoning with her insane classmates. That was a big nay for me. I didn't like the anime at all. I completely forgot about it. I really, tried to, remove it from my memory. I was episode 1 to 3. I hated it more or less. I hated it, but I felt it was annoying. Wasn't that funny. They were all just annoying to me. They weren't funny. They were annoying. I think it was a very weak episode start in the beginning. Graham Lewis back, of course. Oh yeah, the rice cooking anime. Shinchou Yuusha. It's It's like so about doing rice. I felt it was pretty weak, but I was gonna say I felt it's like a weak nay. I also have an episode of opinion about it. They also have Iruma-kun, which I feel is like Rosario Vampire, but instead of a sexy mocha-san, it's a male mocha guy, and it just feels like I'm watching You know, it is a very guy in demon world, little people. It just feels very generic to me. I dropped it after I like it's a nay for me. Haven't seen, maybe I haven't seen too much of it, but I felt I dropped it immediately. Yeah, I was like, no, not good enough. Iruma-kun, no, I was like, no, it wasn't good enough. Verlex Love, I wanted more of it, but also I kind of just dropped it more. Yeah, I was like, the more I see of it, the less I like it. Also a nay. The quick nays here. Sherlock similar, yeah, the quick nays here now, but I basically, oh yeah, Africa No Salary Man. It's also that man, I hated it. No, but Africa No Salary Man, it has some jokes that are pretty funny, but also, God, that's the bird guy, you know, with his Zenitsu. The song is great, the whole thing is great, but man, I hated this character. I dropped it immediately too. I was like, man, Africa No Salary Man, that for me is a big nay. I felt like half the jokes were just like, oh man, this is not fun at all. I feel it was really boring. I felt it was just missing all the jokes. I don't know. The character was so overkill. I couldn't live with it all. Fairy God, I haven't started seeing it. I watched the whole season 1, but man, that was a bad season. So I didn't start watching it. That's a name for me. Season 1 of Fairy God, I was like, why was I watching this crap? Nothing makes any sense in this anime. I thought about it when it's airing in season 1, but I was like, my God. This anime is getting worse and worse every week, so I felt for it. I haven't even started seeing it yet, and I probably will never see it, I feel, but I probably will when it's over. I'll probably binge it one day. But god damn it, the anime was just tragic. There's so many mistakes, there's so many classic of that kind of strategy, kind of fantasy, medieval role-playing / tactical role-playing game animes. There's just all the mistakes were there. And man, that was frustrating. But I probably will see it when it's over, so I can just see how it ends. But man, it wasn't good. Anyway, that concludes yay or nay. Maybe I missed something now. Leave a comment below. I probably missed so many anime. I'm talking about almost every anime now that are new at least. I skipped over now a few sequels and like the Konosuba shows, I suppose. But yes, that's it. So, guys, leave a comment below. What animes do you like? What anime surprised you, right? What's your favorite anime of the season? You have my favorite list. What's your favorite list? Alright, see you guys tomorrow with Black Clover, of course. And yes, girls, should be back tomorrow. Last week it was a delayed, like some kind of 4.5 thing. Production issues done. Issues. That's probably back tomorrow with uncensored.